everyone, welcome back to Soda City Live. We are getting a sneak peek here at Riverbank Zoo and Garden of their new Darnall W. and Susan F. Boyd Aquarium and Reptile Conservation Center. We're going to speak with two experts here on the scene. It's been with the zoo for a while because we've been talking about this all month long, but we want you to see what's going on in there. Come on, so let's take a look. I'm here with John Davis, who is the Director of Animal Care and Welfare, and I'm so glad to be here with you today, John.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to show you and our guests the new Aquarium Reptile Complex.
Now, one thing, John, that I love that we talked about is you've been here over 34 years, and you were here for the opening of the original aquarium conservation, or the aquarium that was, not aquarium, but the reptile exhibit that was here. And so you have had an opportunity to see the change over the decades. How has that been for you?
Yeah, you know, so one thing that we did when the original Aquarium Reptile Complex, when it first opened back in 1990, it was such a popular attraction. You know, a lot of our guests like to come and see, get up close to snakes and fishes and things that they don't normally get to see. And of course, back in those days, the way we exhibited these animals was a lot of smaller exhibits that you could get up close to. But now we've transformed into looking out more for the animal care and showing our guests a real up close and personal experience with the animals in some of these floor to ceiling exhibits and actually walking out into the desert. And so just a whole new way, but also more importantly, the new building, it brings the guests more up close and personal to some of our successful programs that we're going to talk about today.
You know, another thing that I love, when we came in here earlier, we saw I learned a new word today, an Aquarius. She is someone or a person that takes care of the aquatic animals here. And we saw Michelle earlier feeding some of the animals in the area that most visitors would hardly or never get to see. And now with this new structure here, visitors are able to see how the caretakers care for the animals. And how important was that for you all to showcase?
Yeah, you know, over the past few years, Riverbanks has become involved in a very important project. Unfortunately, it's due to the condition of some of our Florida reef tract areas just right off the coast of Florida. They've developed a stony tissue disease where they're losing and they're starting to deteriorate. It's very concerning. Riverbanks, along with several other zoos, joined together to bring some of these animals into human care, learn about their care, and whatever it takes to thrive, for them to thrive, because we don't really know whether it's viral, whether it's water temperatures. So it's very, very concerning. And you know, our coral reefs are very important to our coastline. So but Riverbank stepped up and champions the care. We've been very successful, and you saw Michelle actually feeding the corals. Those are living tissues in there, and very important. While we've been doing it behind the scenes, we wanted our guests to see this because it's very important. We want them to be aware of what's going on. It's a very sad story. It's very concerning. Right. We all should foster an appreciation for our environment and all living things, but it brings it to the front to raise awareness of what we can do to help and inspire our guests, make them aware, but then recognizing where Riverbanks right here in Columbia, South Carolina is doing their very best to help corals that are in real trouble right off of our Florida coast.
Yeah, and we're going to be wrapping up here very shortly, but I do want to show our viewers this wonderful wall behind us here. So every so often, this is going to change. So every time you come and visit and support Riverbank Zoo and Garden, you might get something different every time. So let's talk a little bit about what's behind us here.
You know, Riverbanks, for the last, 25 years, we have championed this amazing species, the leaf-tailed gecko. There's a lot of different varieties in here. They all look different, but they're from Madagascar. And you know, our animal care teams wanted to champion these species, and really it was a species that was challenged in human care, and we wanted to make a difference. And so our care teams joined together, learned all about this species, their humidities and temperatures, and how best to propagate them and rear their eggs to adulthood. And so we've been very successful, and Riverbanks is now very well recognized across the country for being a successful program for these leaf-tailed geckos. And We have always had it in the back. Nobody got to see it. So
Right.
how cool is that? To actually see now these species and some of our successes. But then also, this is just a very diverse wall of a lot of things happening. And at first, you know, it's a lot of smaller exhibits, but there's a lot of things going on in here. Our animal care teams are always looking at selecting what species can go in here. We have our leaf-tailed geckos at a variety of ages, so some of the younger ones. And then we're also working down below here. We've got an aquarium that will have our gopher frog project that we actually bring eggs, working with some local partners, bring eggs and propagate them, and then actually schedule a release for the gopher frog, which is obviously a significant species to conserve here in South Carolina.
Awesome. Well, John, thank you so much for sharing these amazing details. And I have another question. If any visitor wants to learn the details that you're sharing, is there a class? I know there used to be some type of educational component if anyone wants to get some more insight and to be able to help, you know, to contribute to making sure that wildlife is preserved.
You know, sure. On our Riverbanks website, we have riverbanks.org. We have a great deal of programs and educational programs. We have classrooms for all ages to come here to Riverbanks to learn about, you know, foster an appreciation for our terrestrial life, our aquatic life, all things. And then, of course, we also encourage our visitors to guess to maybe if they want to join our team and get involved. We have a great volunteer program, intern programs for new people who want to move up through and champion some of these species and be a real champion for conservation and our wildlife and our fragile environment.
Love it, John. Thank you so much. And we'll have all these details on our website, wistv.com/SodaCityLive. We'll have the link for Riverbank Zoo and Garden, and you'll be able to get all the amazing information that we learned right here on their website. So stick with us. Much more Soda City Live coming up next.